tougher than Nigerian hair. I was like, okay, that's how you start the song off.
Welcome to Message Reveal. Message Reveal identifies a vibe, a message, or a story told through lyrics of a song. Well, you guys, if you rock with me every Monday, you know what I do and how I do it. But if you're new to my platform, please check us out, subscribe, and find out what Message Revealed is all about. So, you guys, I'm so excited. My guest, I can't wait to tell you a few things about my special guest. So let's get started. One, he's a native of Las Vegas. You guys know how I feel about my natives. Yes. Number two, he's a super producer. I can't wait to find out about that. And last but not least, he's an entrepreneur. You guys, please put your hands together and put your hands together and welcome my special guest, Tyler.
What's up, everybody? I appreciate you guys for watching, of course, and subscribing. And I'm super honored to be a guest on the podcast.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate you. I'm telling you, like I tell all my guests, I know you could be doing any other thing on your Friday and you said yes to me, so I appreciate you.
Yes, ma'am.
So, typically I go through these whole spiel about this and spill about that. I'm going to ask you just to tell me a little bit about yourself before we get started.
Super producer, engineer, entrepreneur. I think you did a great job at naming the big three there. But I'm an average person, man. A big brother for sure. I think that's a big part of my demeanor. It makes the mentoring aspect make sense. It makes the philanthropy aspect make sense. When you grow up in a single parent household, you kind of step into some shoes that I feel like were God ordained. So that was a big part of my story. And it just kind of kept me going and kept me driving and striving for bigger things. And I realized that at that young age, my decisions had the power to affect those who were depending on me, and I was just naturally a part of a bigger ecosystem, a bigger purpose. And so even transitioning into college football, being a team captain or a team leader and different things like that, I couldn't get away from it. And so now owning the gas station studios that I've been blessed to establish, our facility hires young people to work for us. We have a youth program that we facilitate here. And they're learning all of the things that I've been blessed to learn and accommodate or equip myself with over time in my professional journey. So in a nutshell, that's who I am, a producer, engineer, a part-time comedian. I like to have fun and a God-fearing man and husband. So
I love that. Okay, we got to big up you on that. I love the piece that you talked about giving back to the young people, giving them the opportunity to learn the different disciplines that is offered in your business. But if we don't do that, and maybe you can agree, we know that they can be off doing other things or they'll have a harder time. And because you have been blessed, you're making sure you're blessing others, correct?
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So immediately when I got out of college, I started to work with the gang intervention team here with Clark County. And so I spent, maybe 3, 4 years doing that, mentoring and specifically working with kids who are already in trouble, I would say, for lack of other words. They were already introduced to the court system or introduced to incarceration. And so the imperativeness of getting them to understand, one, that they have things to lose, that life is important and there's more to gain, and the ways that we can do that, and this is young ladies and young men, was already, at the forefront. And so what I noticed is when I was teaching them that they paid more attention when the mentors and the staff were also visually successful,
Mm,
right? And so it came a point in time, like a crossing path, where I actually had to walk away from that job. And the only reason I walked away from it is because it required more time for me to build the vision that I had been asking God for, um, than I had to give to the program. And so it broke my heart. But years later, those same kids work with me. These are the
wow.
kids. Yeah, it's crazy, crazy full circle. Like we've hired kids that were in that program, and now they work with me. I have the full studio, so a lot of those kids come and record here. This is their safe space. A lot of those, gang integrated teens are here in this space, and it's a ceasefire on Gas Station Studios campus. Everybody appreciates this is their home. This is their peaceful ground. So they know, like, nah, any of that street stuff got to stay outside, and it's a mutual understanding. So I see the entire vision in hindsight, right? I see it in 2020 on why it was so important, and how every move was instrumental in getting to where we are today.
Yeah, that I know that is absolutely amazing. It sounds like you were spirit led, God led, because if you had not listen to that tugging in your heart to say it's time to move on, you would not be able to create this higher vibration, which is your business, for those same children to come back and
Hmm.
have a place where you say it's a peaceful place and they know it and probably protect it. If somebody coming in with that woo woo, wait, we're not having that.
Yes, ma'am. They're regulated before I will sometimes.
That's great. That's the respect
Yeah.
that you have built with them.
And truthfully, I can't really take all the credit for that. I'll take maybe 15% of it, but most of it is definitely God, because we talking about this Gen X. They crazy, man. They are crazy. So it definitely takes some will and some favor, and just knowing how to handle them and being real and transparent to
Yeah.
be able to connect with them in that way. So I'm definitely grateful for that, and I'm grateful to them for not, making it something crazy here in the city. So
Yes, yes. I think you said the key word to be transparent. They not fooling with you. They not messing with you. They not supporting you if you fake and phony. So to me, I've worked with children for many, many years. And one of the things that they always said, I said, well, why would you give this person a chance? Man, they full of it and they can smell it. It's like fear or like bees.
hmm
They can just smell that energy as a frequency. So I bless you for continue to do that, and I wish you nothing but success on that, working with young people, because we know that's the key to our future. Because 30, 40 years from now, I want some good children in the place, not ones that be like, wait a minute, what did you say?
yeah,
And not
right.
saying, and I'm not painting a picture for all children. I'm just saying some circumstances has only allowed them to see that particular environment, and that's the only way they know how to acclimate in the world. And we want to give them what I say exposure and engagement. Those two things produce a different life.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Anything we complain about this younger generation, we to blame, because we the generation that taught them.
Say
So,
that.
so we might not be individually, at fault for that one particular kid or whatever, but no, we played a part. They learned it from somewhere. So
Mhm.
yeah, it's a village for sure to make sure it's right.
I love that. You're just warming my heart. You're speaking all my language, the village, all of that. I just love it. So, music has turned me out in a good way. I know you can relate.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And
That's the safe place. Yeah. Universal
yes,
language right there. Universal language. You don't even gotta have no words on it, but it's gonna say something.
that that part.
Hmm.
So I say all of that to ask you if you can identify a lyric of a song that has either blessed you, distracted you, or taught you a lesson. Now,
Mm.
before you answer, Sir, there's some rules to this.
Okay.
If you can sing, I need you to sing your throat box out. If you can rap, I
Yeah.
need you to come hard in the paint. I need you to do it like you do it in your studios, okay?
Okay. Okay.
But last but not least, if you cannot do either one or you just choose not to, I need you to say it with passion. I
Hmm.
need to feel it. You know, in the streets, we say stand 10 toes down.
Yes, ma'am.
I need to be able to know how you know it. So we'll go back to the original question:
Okay.
blessing, distraction, or lessons?
Oh man. So first off, disclaimer: I'm the producer, right? I'm the producer. It's somebody else's job to sing the lyrics, but it's a song I don't think will ever age on me. I feel like it always comes back into play, and it's by Anita Wilson. And the song goes, "It's done. What I shall be, I already am. It's done. Oh, yes, it is. God has worked it out on my behalf. My eyes may not see it. By faith, I receive it. It will manifest. It's already done." And that song is my panic song because I didn't really understand what it meant at the time, but I just trusted my mama. That was my go-to, right? That was my middleman between me until I had a relationship with God personally. She would teach me, like, sometimes you gotta turn everything off and listen to one particular song. And when she played, she gave me that song. And this was during draft time, for football and college and things like that. And for any athlete who may be watching or might hear of this conversation, you know exactly how it feels to have that pressure on your mind, especially when you're playing at that higher level. And so when you're asking for something like a scholarship or some type of result, it feels alone. Sometimes like you don't have the visual representation of where you're going. Sometimes the road signs are gone, right? In between here in California, you just gotta trust that you on the right road, right? From the signs that you've seen before. But it gets dark sometimes, and for me, that feeling still comes up. I'm a lot more stronger in my faith now, but also the thing I got to hold on my shoulder is a lot heavier now.
Yes.
My battles are a lot, more I don't want to say graphic, but they require more mentally. And so that place, that feeling, it still comes back up. It's like I'm the same young man masking as who I am today, in this world. So when that happens and I feel myself um, tapping more into what my eyes are seeing than what my heart and
Wait,
my
wait, wait, honey. We have a pause moment on this section.
okay.
You said something. I have invisible cues. You can't see them. I can't see them, but you're speaking to them. You said when your heart or when you can't see what it is,
Hmm.
people have to understand. And you teaching me and reminding me of the things. Sometimes we are looking at things and it's distracting us from the job we need to
Hmm.
do to move forward.
Hmm.
You're talking to somebody. I just had to stop and make sure they knew what you were saying. So go on.
Yes, I might be talking to myself because
You're talking to
no,
all of us.
no, seriously, it's a constant reminder, and sometimes these opportunities when you get to talk about it, it just reminds you of things that you've been through. It reminds you to keep staying focused. You do see the vision yourself, and you just gotta trust that. So and what I was saying is like your eyes here on earth when you seeing things from a mortal perspective, you're not seeing it the way God is seeing it. You're not seeing the way the universe has it panned out for you.
Come on.
And so you just kind of gotta trust again the road sign that he gave you a while ago. When you were
Yes.
in the first couple miles of your dream, you saw a sign and it was clear to you and it gave you the confidence to go in that direction. And
Yes.
so, again, there's a long stretch between here in California or here in Needles where you don't see no signs and you don't see no, any type of indicator letting you know that you're going in the right way.
Come on, preach, baby.
And so, and so, like you gotta just trust your gut. You gotta trust, what you saw, what you know, because everybody else might be looking at it like, hey, you lost. You don't know what you're doing, and if you continue to listen to them, then you're gonna be lost. You're gonna give up hope. You just gotta trust what God showed you.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I agree. I think that was so wonderfully said and done. And it all encouraged us because sometime I am the teacher and sometime I'm the student. Right now, at this moment, I was the student. So thank you for giving for my spirit because that's a reminder of something that I'm working on seriously. So thank you. Thank you for that.
No problem. No problem. My pleasure.
So let's talk about, since you talked about um, this stretch of road. I like how you put it from Vegas to California, but you're right. When you're going from Vegas to Needle, you may not see anything.
Mhm.
And I say all that to segue into you having your business. What was the impetus for you to say, because you came out of the football world,
Mhm.
what was it to say, I'm going to do this?
Okay, I'm gonna try to make that a long story really short. So I was actually, I wouldn't say I was promised to be in the NFL. Nobody's promised to be in the NFL. But I definitely played at a high enough level to continue to pursue that dream. And I'm for sure if I would have kept pushing at it, I would have had success. But before my senior year, my mother, she it was like I was getting ready to leave for training camp, right? I was getting ready to leave for training camp, and she brought me into the room, and she was like, I've just been praying, I've been thinking about it. You know, um, you sure football is what you want to do?
Mm,
Right? And so pinning that, I never stopped producing, right? Through the whole time. For when people know me as an athlete, they always know me as, oh, he does music too, he raps, he makes beats and all this other stuff too. So it was always in tandem. It was just I was 2 feet at birth, 6'4", and talented at football. It makes sense. It's like the typical black dream, right? Or the black expectation. Um, but I just want to make it clear that music was always there. That was my passion, and I wanted to play a few years into the NFL, and then put that money towards what I really wanted to do. As I started to grow closer with God through that senior year and through the NFL endeavors, I realized that God promises you the desires of your heart, right? Not the
mm,
desires of your mind. And so in my mind, I felt like football was the way to free myself from financial burden. It was the way to get the family out of their predicaments and take care of my people, right? That that ideology plagues a lot of us coming from similar backgrounds because we don't see how we can make money off of our passions,
mm.
right? So football was never really in my heart. I love football because I was good at it, right? It was something I was focused on. And for a lot of us who are multifaceted, multi-talented, we confuse things like talents with our passions,
Mm.
right? And I felt like I was a victim to that. So again, long story short, I didn't get drafted, but I right after the draft, I got an opportunity to go with the San Diego Chargers. My first time getting there, I walked the field and I'm crying like a baby because it took so much to get there, right? And then toward I did well in camp, but towards the end of camp, there's this um there's a situation that just put everything into perspective for me. They told me that, hey, like we love you on and off the field. It's not even about just talent at the end of the day. We have people that we have to answer to, and all we can do is vouch for you because we've invested in people and players. And so I say all that to say there's some business things that that are humbling, right? Like it's not always about talent. It's not always about the best player on the field. At that level where so much money and things are taken into place, everybody has to account for something. So
Mhm.
I feel like we can understand. I don't got to explain that, but
It's business at the end of the day.
it's business at the end of the day, right? And they were like, man, just stay healthy. We'll call you. Stay healthy. We call you. So I'm taking that long drive back home, or yeah, the long drive back from the airport, and I feel like low,
Mm,
right? I feel like it didn't work out the way I seen it. And the whole time through my tears is like God just talking to me and reminding me, like, I'll give you the desires of your heart. I'll give you everything that you asking for. But you never really asked to be NFL superstar. You've been asking me to be a producer, to be this and this and this. It's our job to dream, right? It's our job to say what the destination is. It's God's job to fill in the stuff in between, right?
mm,
It's God's job to answer the how,
mm.
right? And so I was trying to be God in that moment and saying, "Oh no, the way I'm gonna get to this is I'm gonna use in the NFL to get to my dream," and that wasn't the plan for my life. And
Mm-hmm.
through and we all know if you believe in God, it's gonna be a super duper low moment when you really connect with Him and you and all the distractions is gone because I didn't want to talk to nobody. I didn't want to hear no music. I ain't want nothing. I was
Mm-hmm.
just sitting in silence and almost in the dark, and it was like that was the perfect time for him to say everything super clear to me. And
Yes.
so years later now, right after football, I went into the business and I started, to slowly engineer and teach myself and produce and write for people, and here we are.
I have to clap that up because again, you're speaking to someone. We're not going to say a young person or old, to someone that has had a battle with what they thought could get them to one route.
Mhm.
And what you're saying, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, that there are other routes to be successful, and you don't have to go here to get there.
Mhm.
And I'm glad that you were transparent and sharing that because we've all done that. Where, oh, I'll do this a little bit and it'll take me there. And I
Mhm.
think it's okay. It is God's training when we go through that process and it does not actually make it there to say, listen, you had a vision, but I had a vision bigger. Which one you going to depend on?
Right. Mhm.
So I love that you said that, and you would probably be a totally different person if you had went into the NFL. Look at all the things that your heart desired that you would like to do. You wouldn't even have time for it. It would have been a distant memory, don't you
Mhm.
think?
And honestly, like I probably would have got comfortable.
Hmm.
Like you making that much money, you talk about maybe 7 grand every Thursday, right? Like for the
Yes.
lowest person on the team. Like I might have continued to personally work on music myself instead of, affecting my music, affecting so many other people. My knowledge, helping out, a generation of people. So I honestly do believe that it was meant to happen the way that it did.
Hmm.
And the beautiful part of it is it all makes sense. My drive, my natural discipline, it made sense. Football taught me that. And it didn't leave when I just chose a different, pathway. The
Yeah.
humility and everything that, team sports might teach you and knowing how to work with people and the patience to bring somebody who's the lesser on the team to a optimal position. Like it never left.
Wow.
And so it all plays a part in what I've built now and what God has allowed me to build.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I call those lessons and blessings, and we all need it because those lessons and blessings are two things. They are wisdom and experience. And wisdom and experience will take you to the higher level. What they say about Jacob's ladder, go higher and higher. Well, that's what we want to do. We want to elevate ourselves. So, with that being said,
Mhm.
I was wondering, can you identify a song that or an artist that you had the opportunity to purchase all on your own? Not your mama, not your friend, not your cousin. You just heard it and you was like, that's dope, that's dope, that's dope. I'm going to spend my money on that. Can you
Mhm.
identify a song or artist?
Yes. The first album I ever bought with my own money was the Carter 3, Lil Wayne.
What?
I'll play the breaks off of that album. Man, to the death. I played it to the death.
So since you have that and hold it so close, can you give me a song off of there that and give me some of the lyrics that you was like, this was so dope. I had, when you're driving down the street, you rapping or whatever the case may be. Can you give me something?
Yeah, like what you mean? Like rap
Uh,
the
it,
song?
a song, yes, from that album because you
Yeah,
said you
that
played the whole album.
yeah, that album had A Mili on there. That album had Lollipop on there. That album had Mrs. Officer. What? Like they had so many, 3-peat. It had so many hits on that album. And that was like in Lil Wayne's prime too. Like, my generation got a chance to actually appreciate Lil Wayne before all the drugs and stuff like that. So he was really game changing. And a lot of artists that are here today like owe that to him.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I was young. Wayne was at the top at that moment. I had to get that album. Had to. Had to.
So, do I get a lyric from any song? Give just a few lyrics of any song, just because you love that so much.
Let me
Let me
see.
see.
What did he say? A millionaire. What did he say? A millionaire.
A trillionaire.
I'm a young money millionaire, tougher than Nigerian hair. I was like, okay, that's how you start the song off, tougher than Nigerian hair. And I had a Nigerian homeboy at the time. His hair was nappy as hell, so them lyrics it was hidden during that time.
He said, but he was talking about the strength of what it is.
Yeah, yeah. And he said a bunch more, man. But y'all gotta do your own research. Yeah, you know what I'm
Yes, yes. Well, let's go back and talk about you a little bit more and let's talk about the blueprint. I think that's super dope.
saying?
Um, Tell us a little bit about it and what initially made you want to provide that to the artist.
Oh, so you're talking about the show, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So the
Yeah,
Blueprint is our live acoustic series. A lot of us are fans of Tiny Desk. Um, love that show.
me
Shout
too.
out to NPR and everything they've been able to do for artists and or do for us as viewers, first and foremost. And then there's another show in the UK called The Colors Show.
Oh,
Yeah, so it's similar, but the rooms, the film sets are always like colors. And so the blueprint is actually my wife's idea. I just helped her produce the series, and then we just thought it'd be dope to have something professional, something is next level, industry level here in Vegas. More importantly than anywhere else, and so although we've had artists that are from out of town, we created it for Vegas, and we just thought a lot of artists, a lot of the clients that we work with have never performed with a live band. It would allow us to use our platform, our reach on social media to give them some views. Kind of like segueing them into, people who are looking for talent. And thank God people kind of trust our voice on who's talented and who's not. But in short, that's what it is. It's a live performance series. We have two of my cousins, my cousin Tay Gaston, Deontay Gaston. He is the MD. You'll see him on the keyboard, and he plays everything. Shout out to him. As talented as I might be, he is literally the one in the family. In the Gaston family, he is the one. I said proudly, I said loudly. He plays every instrument. He's
wow.
yeah, he's played for Ti. He's played for Future and Rick Ross and a host of other names. And he's super humble about it. But I was proud to get him. And then his little brother, who learned from him, is on the bass.
Oh, a
Yeah,
family affair.
it's a family affair. It's a family affair. And then, of course, since I'm married, that's my wife's family too. So, but yeah, we get artists depending on if they want to do a solo episode or a one song performance, their next single. The band learns it. They do their own rendition of it, like a live version of the song, and then they come in and we record it.
I love it. I think that is so needed and necessary to give them the opportunities. You and I both grew up here in Las Vegas, and the center has always been the Strip. Not
Hmm.
saying we didn't do our thing here. We were always very talented. We've always had this pool of talented people, but the center was the Strip. I
Hmm.
believe that we have so much now that we are really showcasing who we are on multiple levels. And the blueprint is a way to solidify Vegas and say, listen, we got something going on over here too.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And that's the goal. That's the vision. It's like we have to build things that people can recognize or associate with Vegas culture,
Yeah.
right? When they come here and they don't want to be on the strip, they like, okay, where are the spots we go to? What should we look out to or look forward to? And then it's like when you go to LA, there's No Jumper and all these other different platforms and Hot 97 in New York and stuff like that. We need our own. We need
Yeah.
our own stuff here in Vegas that people know of. And the strip is a big contributor to why I feel like it hasn't been established. No,
Mm.
no other city has a strip, right? No other city has that type of adversary when you're talking about building up local customs. A lot of people in a lot of different places still believe we live on the strip.
I I just recently had someone tell me 2 days ago.
Yeah, they think we live in a sweet life, like literally in hotels. So, nah, that's not the case. We actually have, homegrown restaurants and, we got black culture, we got Hispanic culture, we got all types of, culture here in Vegas. And it's our time is coming. Our time
Yeah.
is coming, but we definitely have to start supporting each other. We got to start crowning and championing some of the stuff that we all love.
Yes.
And I think not just Vegas, but criminal justice teaches us like whenever a place or a population feels like there's a lack of resources, they start fighting over the slim chances, and they
Hmm.
don't, it changes the perception. They don't want this person to seem like they better than, or they want the opportunity for themselves, to say the least. And that's
Yes.
not the way. We gotta network laterally before we can ever network vertically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I definitely agree with you. We're definitely support all and everyone. I grew up here as you, and one thing I can say for sure, of course, I'm always going to represent this and support and elevate that. But let me also say this: I try the spirit by the spirit. I grew up. I grew up with everybody in my class, Hispanic, Asian, Caucasian, and we
Hmm.
all got together and we did things together. And they supported me as well as I supported them. And Vegas
Hmm.
has always had that, and not until I traveled to like Chicago years ago, I didn't realize how segregated it was. Like,
Hmm.
you have this area, you have that area. Vegas, we do have our spots where we are culturally strong, but we have included everyone in there. I don't know if you can speak to that.
Absolutely, absolutely. I didn't. Yeah, every one of my schools, even if there were a bunch of black kids, I had a bunch of all other colors too. It's always been a rainbow as far as my class and the peers that I saw. And so the concept of racism, yeah, I understood it because they still taught about slavery and stuff in school during my time. But it wasn't apparent to me, like it didn't hit the same as when other people talked about it living down south or elsewhere. Because it's like, maybe that was a thing of the past because this my homeboy and he white. This my teammate. These all are all my partners. Like, and I never really had that issue. And the fact that when you come from humble beginnings and you see, oh, it's white people down here struggling with it, or you see it's Hispanics, you see it's Polynesians, and everybody struggling. We ain't got time to be racist because we all need to make money, right? We
That,
don't even got the we don't got the time to focus on that concept. So yeah, I do love that you brought that up because Vegas is a melting pot.
yeah.
I think the only other place that might have us, only other two places that might have us beat are maybe Florida and New York.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
but
Yeah,
yeah.
you hit that right on the head. That definitely, when I go to Florida, it's a whole nother world in itself, and I love the culture diversity.
Hmm.
But with that being said, do you feel like in the next 5 to 10 years, Vegas will be at a different spot globally,
Hmm.
and why?
Yep, I absolutely do. Without saying too many of the secrets, we've been blessed, and I'm humbled to sit in rooms with where people are discussing the new Sony stuff and what's
Mm-hmm.
coming in the next few years. I've sat in some conversations where they're talking about label heads and stuff moving here. So in terms of culture, music and film dictate the industry. Music, film, and fashion, right? But it takes the first two because they make the most money.
Mm-hmm.
Our films generate the most money. The music generates, the image. It dictates what fashion is going forward. And so when you have Sony moving here and they're using the city, and now we get an opportunity to express Vegas at a bigger level, right? And then now we have the people here that are willing to listen.
Yeah.
That's a bunch of life changing opportunity in itself, and so I do believe that. I know it's coming. The gas station is trying to be a part of that in building up the workforce and different things like that. So yes, I can 100% say it's going to happen in the next 5 to 10 years for sure.
Yes, yes. Well, we welcome that. I'm a big believer that we don't forget about us, that
Hmm.
we need to be in the fabric of everything we do. And when I say us, people that look like you and I. So, and everybody else, again, like I said, we include, but it is special to make sure you have somebody that represent and look like you and I.
Hmm.
So,
Absolutely. Yep.
with that, let's talk about this. When I first heard anything about you, this stands out, and you got to tell me how or when was the first time someone said this to you, or if you identified it yourself. The Dr. Dre of Las Vegas. Come on,
I,
tell me about that.
so Dre is definitely like Dre and Timbaland are like two of my. All right, if I need to be somebody, if I want to be like somebody, it's those two mixed together, right? I need to have the creativity of Timbaland, the
Mm-hmm.
that off the wall, make sense out of everything that don't make sense and make it popular, make it sound good. That's Timbaland. I respect him so much. Shout out to him for just shouting out the gas station recently too, because that was
Oh,
big.
what?
Yeah, that was
That's
dope. That was dope.
awesome.
And then for Dre, I think Dre is so up and down in people's public perception. They respect him so much for what he's accomplished, but I saw it so much differently. Like he was the first to take a place, or in my book, he was one of the first to take a place where they didn't really care about that place's music, or they didn't really care about that place's culture, and he put it on the forefront. And he carried the weight of that, not alone. I'm not saying he carried it alone because obviously you have Ice Cube, you have Easy E, but
Yes.
it took somebody to have the vision for how to do it, right?
Mm,
It took somebody who had to establish the respect, the street cred, the everything that matters to our culture and to the people, to even have to be the person that people champion to push forward, right? And allowed to do that. When people are being great in that capacity, they had to be allowed to do that by the culture, which
yeah.
means you had years and years of earning respect from people.
Setting a standard.
Exactly. So when he stood out and spoke for Compton, right? Compton had to respect him. They had to say, "Nah, everything he's saying, we agree with. We push him. We allow him to say that. He the best person to say that for us." And then it stopped being just Compton. It started being L.A. in total. It started to be. Then it was California. Then it was the West Coast, right? And so for me, I need that for Vegas. I gotta do
Yes.
that for Vegas. Like I
I'm
need.
rooting for you too.
And so the first time I started to accept it is when that Straight Outta Compton movie came out a few years back, and people started calling me like, "Man, hey man, all I was thinking about was you, man, in that movie." When I saw it, I thought of gas, man, and so many people called me. I'm like, okay, I dig it. I dig it.
That's a compliment and a blessing.
Mm. And that's the way I take it too. That's definitely the way I take it. It's such an honorable thing for them to say that because I see Dre in such a good light and such a big light, and he got years and years and years to come of being important, right?
Yes.
Of being a figure. Him and Snoop Dogg just dropped something. It sounded like they never left.
Okay. It's oozing out of their sales, like they just do it naturally. And I
Mhm.
think that's what all of us should find a place where we can just do things naturally and it just become who we are. It's like breath in our body to exude that. So big up to Dr. Dre, Timberland, and you again. Okay, I'm gonna put you up in that category. Okay.
I received it. I received that.
Yes. So let's talk about, I always like to discover really dedicated people to their craft. How do they have outlets? You are married, you said, correct?
Hmm. Hmm.
You have the blueprint, you have your studio. How do you say, okay, time out? What do you need to do for you so you can continue to be that great person in all aspects?
Hmm. So physically, my relief is I work out. I'm in the gym. I still kind of train like I'm playing football again.
Mm.
Um, so that's physically I do that. I still love to make music. Half like more than half of my day is actually bringing other people's vision to life. So oftentimes I got to pause that and then produce for myself and then get some of my feelings out. I think my biggest outlet, I guess spiritually for sure, my biggest outlet is my team. I got a strong, team of 4 or 5. It's a small circle, but they play heavy pieces in my life. So shout out to them. They know who they are.
That's
Uh,
wonderful.
and then creatively, I gotta leave and watch movies. I don't want to hear no music. I just watch movies and I study and I see how they're producing, but in so much of a bigger array, right? It's
Mhm.
music included in the visual aspect, included in the storytelling, in the scripting, and even down to the lighting and different things like that. Like having that much control and paying attention to that type of detail on that level at $100 million budget level is so inspirational to me. So creatively, I refresh myself by going to watch movies and things like that.
And it sounds like even though you say you go watch that's an outlet, it's also it sounds like a teaching process for you to tap into different like, oh, they did it like this, maybe I can do it like that, but still relaxing in the process.
Absolutely. So yeah, we do film as well at the gas station. We don't just do music. We are like fully, completely diving into film as well. And it almost feels like the same process as writing a song from scratch. It's just you writing a story in a different way.
Hmm.
So it's an easy transition. We opened the first film studio in the city's history. So it all kind of goes hand in hand.
Yeah.
With
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, go ahead.
No, I just wanted to make a point. You said you just kind of glossed over that. So let's just talk about you being in the history of North Las Vegas
Mhm,
in June of 2020 or 2022.
mhm.
You were given the business of the month plaque, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
How did that come about? And were you surprised when they identified you and say, hey, we want to honor you because you're making history in the city of North Las Vegas?
I think surprise is like like I don't know. I can't really explain the feeling of surprise. Like, are we appreciative? Did we, think of that award? No, absolutely not. So surprise in that aspect, yes. But is it to be expected when you work that hard? Like I'm not a cocky person, but I know like why I'm working towards something. I know the results. I know like the comparison of the average person doing what I'm doing. And so I think the surprise comes when other people notice what you're doing.
That's a good way of looking at it.
Yeah. So no, that was really really dope. That was really really dope. Shout out to North Las Vegas for seeing the vision because they could have been looking elsewhere.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
And shout out to, I just interviewed um, the mayor of North Las Vegas, Pamela
TT
Goins.
Pam. Mhm.
Yes, she is amazing. And her history, if you ever get a chance to check out the interview, her history with music and how she resonate with music, we talked about all of that. So shout out to Mayor Pamela Goins Brown.
Yeah, shout out to her. That's TT Pam, man. She's so pivotal to North Las Vegas and her family. And I believe
Yes,
she was a music teacher, right?
she was absolutely at
Yeah.
Joe Mackey.
Yeah, so I'm gonna get her to write a song with me one of these days.
And do you know also she plays the piano?
Yep, yep. I do
Yes,
know that.
yes, yes. So let's get back. Well, we never left music, but let's go to a different lane of music. And let's talk about a song that you sung all your life. I mean, you every time you heard it on the radio from a child to adult, you sung it, and then one day you was like, wait 1 minute. I was singing this and it's something totally different. Can you identify that?
I think a lot of us were singing that R. Kelly music. We didn't know what he was. We didn't know what he was talking about until late. And that was a funny one I thought about. I'm like, hold on, that R. Kelly stuff. He caught me slipping with that one. But Usher's what's it called? What's that song called? Seven? Is it 7 o'clock? I don't know what it's actually called.
It's 7 o'clock on the
Yeah,
dot.
what's the
I'm in the
actual
drop top,
right? I ain't
cruising
had,
the street.
I ain't know what no drop top was. Like I'm definitely not in the streets at 7 o'clock. I was probably at choir rehearsal or something, get some homework done. Talk about I got some real places to be and all of that. I was singing that song with my heart and soul.
Hmm.
And I didn't know nothing he was talking about.
I probably didn't either, but it was so dope how he put it together. And that is like the whether it's the bridge or not, everybody know that particular part. It's 7 o'clock.
Yeah, yeah, on the dot. I'm in my drop top. Yeah,
Cruising the street.
right. Some other bad ones too was the Yin Yang Twins. When I was younger, they was super popular, and they music was terrible. I should not have been.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
you don't remember them
No,
songs?
I remember 6 6. Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah,
Okay.
uh-huh.
Okay.
From the
You,
window to the wall.
yeah. Oh,
Oh,
you
oh,
okay. Yes,
yeah.
okay.
We should not have been singing that.
Yes. Well, I'm gonna be very honest. If I had to talk about the three levels, you have the beat, you have the lyrics, and you have the sound. I'm a beat girl first. And then sometimes I'm like, wait. They said, oh, I can't even pop to that. So
Yeah.
I identify with the beat. I remember Michael Jackson saying, I'm a slave to the beat. Once you hear that beat, you're like, oh, make
Mm-hmm.
a lot of money. Yeah. You get to popping. But
Right.
what are you, if it's out of those three with the beat, the lyrics, or the sound, which one would catch your attention first?
The beat, for sure. I'm a producer. I've always been a producer. It was the beat first and foremost. And then I start realizing, just like you, hold on, what they say? What did he say?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's the beat for me, for sure.
Yeah. And what's the beauty of right now? We have the instant ability to look up the lyrics and be like, I'm not messing with that. That ain't my vibe. That ain't my type or my color. I'm
Mm-hmm.
good. But a beat is just, you could be sitting down eating some food. I've seen people literally is eating some food and the DJ play a song. They like and running and screaming, and that's just how amazing the beat is.
Mm-hmm.
So, and to me, that is the first point of entry to identify life. And when I was pregnant with my son, and initially they was like, "Oh, I think you're miscarrying. We can't hear the heartbeat." So I went to a specialist, and they put the whatever it was. They had instruments that was advanced, and I heard that beat, and it sounded like a drum
Mm-hmm.
beat, and I was so thankful and grateful. So I think I've always been connected to the beat. So
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's powerful. Yeah.
we on the same page far as beat goes. So I don't want to hold you too long. I could talk to you forever. I love your perspective. I love how you're open and transparent, because what you're saying can help someone or encourage someone or just take them to that next step where they're sitting and is like, I didn't know he went through that. So I can go to the next step because he was transparent. So with all that being said, my last question to you before we get out of here: can you identify a song that you can share with the world, a dedication to the world? It can represent part of you or all of you. Can you share a song?
Man, what's that group? It's not the Commodores. It's what is that? I think it's Curtis Mayfield. You know that people get ready for
Curtis?
change is coming. That song right there, like just the simple aspect. Like you don't even gotta be, just get on board.
Yes.
Right, just get on board. Like if you can just get on board with what everybody else is, doing positively, you ain't got to be the one out front. We can all support each other because at the end of the day, it's going to help all of us, right? It's help to jump on board of the things that are trending in the right direction. You don't always have to be the driver in the seat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
So
That's a good one. I'm gonna be really surprised. I'm surprised you said that about Curtis Mayfield. And the
yeah.
reason I love that, my mom would play Curtis Mayfield all the time. So that song resonates with me. So shout out to you for mentioning Curtis. But you are a super producer. So hey,
I listen to everything. I'll probably sample him sometimes soon.
yes, yes. Well, before we get out of here, I always talk about the journey and destination. But before I do that, let's talk about anybody that would like to get in touch with you, collaborate with you. Can you provide your social media handles? Or if you have any upcoming events that's coming up board you'd like to showcase, any of that information.
Yep. So again, the company is the Gas Station Studios. Our Instagram handle is Gas Station Studios LV. You'll be able to see all the upcoming artists, upcoming events, different promotions and things that we support. Our youth program is featured on there. Like it's the hub to reaching everything. Myself, Tyler Gaston, my Instagram is King Gas 100, KingGas 100, King Gas 100 on Instagram. And reach out, man. Let's talk.
Yes, yes, I love that. Um, Before we get out of here, as I mentioned before, I talk about the destination and the journey. The journey is where we learn and where we go. The destination is where we celebrate. Far
Mm.
too often, we work, 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 and we don't celebrate. And when you do that, you don't feel like your work is really appreciated and you get burned out. So you got to celebrate. You got to celebrate in the
Mhm.
destination. But the key to all of it is getting back into the journey so we can continue to learn. So, with that being said, when I have my women on, I bow to them, but with my men, I salute them. So I salute you, sir.
Well, I appreciate you.
Thank you for saying yes. And I always give my guests the very last words. So last words go to you, sir.
Well, I would say this first thing come off my head is being you at such a high rate that it inspires other people to be down.
Yes. I love that. I think you need to say it one more time for the people in the back pew, because they may not have heard you, sir.
Yeah. Be yourself with at such a high intensity that inspires other people to be themselves.
Yes, yes. I think that is so needed. That is a great way to segue out. You guys, please, please put your hands together and thank my guest, Mr. Tyler Gaston. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. And as I say to all of my guests, I'll see you out here in these Las Vegas streets.
Yeah,
Thank you.
no problem.